Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise to bring you the essential insights you need to truly understand a complex topic. Today, we're diving deep into something many of you might be dreaming about: buying property in Thailand. It's a land of incredible beauty and opportunity, but let's be honest, it's not quite as simple as picking a stunning villa and just handing over your cash. There are very specific legal rules, especially for foreigners, that you absolutely need to understand. Our mission today is really to demystify the legal landscape of Thai property acquisition. We want to ensure you can navigate it with confidence and, well, avoid any nasty surprises later on. We're drawing our insights from an incredible source, the comprehensive guide put together by Ocean Worldwide. They're a luxury real estate agency based right there in Phuket. That's Phuket, and they've been there since 2004. Their director, Sandra O'Neill, has apparently helped thousands of families and investors, so we're getting this wisdom, straight from the experts who are really focused on that luxury market in Phuket and Koh Samui. So what does this all mean for someone looking to invest or live in Thailand? Let's unpack this.
Absolutely. And it's crucial because the legal framework for foreign property ownership in Thailand is quite distinct. Truly understanding it from the outset is, well, it's paramount. Our aim today is really to distill the most vital nuggets from Ocean Worldwide's guide. We want to empower you, the listener, to approach this journey with clear eyes, knowing not just what the rules are, but crucially, why they exist and how they impact your plans. You'll quickly learn that while, yes, outright land ownership for non-Thais is generally off the table, right? Owning a condominium unit freehold is actually a very common and pretty straightforward route. And leasing land, typically for those 30-year renewable terms, that's also a highly viable option. We'll definitely emphasize the critical role of engaging a local lawyer, the necessity of remitting funds from overseas, and, yeah, the importance of budgeting for all those extra costs beyond just the sticker price.
Okay, so for many listeners, I imagine the first question is always, can I even own land there? It seems like such a fundamental hurdle. What's the reality, and are there common misconceptions about foreigner land ownership in Thailand?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's where we need to be really, really clear. The general rule is that outright freehold ownership of land is indeed, well, off the cards for non-Thais. Now, there are some very specific, often pretty impractical exceptions, like, significant investment in certain Thai businesses. But for the vast majority of individuals, that's just not a realistic path.
Right.
So the most common and accessible route for foreigners, by far, is to own a condominium unit outright, freehold.
Oh.
But there's a crucial condition here, the 49% rule.
Yeah.
No more than 49% of the total sellable area in that specific condominium building can be foreign-owned. And this isn't just a number. It fundamentally shapes the market. I mean, in highly sought-after developments, especially in places like Phuket or Koh Samui, where Ocean Worldwide operates, that foreign quota often sells out before construction's even finished, which can push foreigners towards the resale market or maybe less desirable units if they wait too long. And a key financial requirement tied directly to this: the funds for your purchase must be remitted into Thailand directly from overseas in foreign currency.
That 49% rule certainly adds a layer of complexity, doesn't it? Especially in popular areas. Now, we often hear these terms leasehold and freehold thrown around when discussing property in Thailand. Can you elaborate a bit on the core difference, especially from a foreign buyer's perspective, and how they apply in practice?
Certainly. So freehold means direct, perpetual ownership of both the property and technically the land it stands on. Although for foreigners, as we just said, this is almost exclusively limited to condominium units. So you own your specific unit and a share of the common areas forever.
Okay.
Leasehold, on the other hand, is essentially a long-term rental agreement. You acquire the right to use and occupy the property and the land for a set period, typically 30 years at a time.
30.
Yeah, and these leases are often renewable, sometimes for up to 90 years in total, but broken down into those 30-year chunks. Think of it like a very robust, very long-term rental agreement where, during the lease period, you hold many of the rights typically associated with ownership.
Makes sense.
A critical point here, though, is that securing a really well-drafted leasehold agreement from a trusted lawyer is absolutely vital. That ensures your rights and, importantly, your renewal options are fully protected throughout that entire, potentially very long period. Now, you also mentioned company ownership. That is another route. It allows a Thai company, which can have foreign shareholders, to hold the freehold title to land.
Okay.
But, and it's a big but, it comes with significant regulatory and tax responsibilities. You're looking at annual audits, strict adherence to Thai corporate law. It's a viable path, yes, but definitely more complex and generally requires specialized legal and accounting advice right from the start.
That makes a lot of sense, distinguishing the direct ownership of a condo from the long-term lease of land or that more complex company route. But once you understand how you can own, how do you even begin to decide what kind of property is right for you? I mean, before looking at a single listing, what should a potential buyer really be asking themselves? What's the why?
That's exactly right. Your why is fundamental. It will define your entire search. Are you actually envisioning a permanent home somewhere to live year-round? Or is it more of a holiday retreat?
Yeah,
Or perhaps purely a financial investment?
right. Big difference.
Huge. If it's for personal use, you'll naturally focus more on things like local amenities, maybe the quality of nearby international schools if you have kids, and just the overall community feel of the neighborhood. An investment focus, however, shifts your priorities dramatically. You'll be looking at rental yields, potential for capital growth, and critically, the ease of managing it, perhaps from afar. Now, many people aim for a blend, using it part-time and renting it out part-time. Just be aware that this often involves compromises. A property that's perfect for a quiet family life might not be perfectly optimized for maximum rental income in a bustling tourist zone, and vice versa. Your long-term goals, whether that's short-term rental income now or maybe a multi-generational family retreat later, will influence everything from the type of property to even the specific lease terms you might negotiate.
So once you've kind of nailed down your why, the next big decision is the where. Thailand is so diverse. How do you decide between, say, the vibrant city life of Bangkok and maybe something more tranquil, perhaps rural or coastal like Phuket?
It's a really significant choice, and Thailand truly offers a massive spectrum of lifestyles. City living, particularly in Bangkok, provides just unparalleled convenience, a really dynamic atmosphere, close proximity to shops, amazing restaurants, efficient transport links, and loads of job opportunities. You'll find a wealth of modern apartments and condominiums there. And interestingly, the price index for new condos in Greater Bangkok actually saw a 3.4% year-on-year increase in the first quarter of 2025.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, marking the second consecutive quarter of growth, which kind of hints at the continued demand there. Conversely, more rural areas, perhaps up in the mountains surrounding Chiang Mai, or smaller coastal towns, they offer peace, quiet, usually more space, and often a lower cost of living. There's a stronger emphasis on culture and nature there. The trade-off, of course, often involves being further from major amenities and probably needing your own transport.
Makes sense.
When we look at the popular destinations for foreigners, Bangkok obviously continues to be a major draw for its sheer energy and business opportunities. Then you have the islands and coastal areas, places like Phuket, Koh Samui, Hua Hin. These are fantastic if your objective leans towards a holiday home or generating rental income from tourists. Beautiful beaches, that luxurious resort lifestyle. And that's really the focus for an agency like Ocean Worldwide, isn't it? Luxury residential real estate in Phuket and Koh Samui, catering specifically to those seeking high-end properties in these very desirable coastal spots.
Right.
And then there's Chiang Mai, another enduring favorite, especially for those who appreciate a rich cultural scene, mountains, and a more relaxed, sort of community-oriented atmosphere. Each location really has its own distinct character and appeal. So it's absolutely worth spending proper time researching which one best aligns with your personal vision and, of course, your financial plans.
Given that huge range of options, it really highlights how crucial financial preparation is. It's clearly not just about having the cash, is it? It sounds like how that money gets to Thailand and how it's documented is incredibly important.
You've hit on an absolutely critical point for foreign buyers.
Yes.
The fundamental rule, and it's a strict one, is that the funds for your property purchase must originate from overseas and be remitted in a foreign currency.
Bro.
You generally can't just transfer funds from a Thai bank account if those funds didn't originally come from abroad with the proper paper trail.
Okay.
The process involves transferring your money, say US dollars, euros, British pounds, whatever, directly to a Thai bank account in its original foreign currency. The Thai bank then performs the conversion into Thai baht at their prevailing exchange rate. This whole process is how the Thai authorities confirm the foreign origin of the funds, and that's a key legal requirement, especially for foreign freehold condominium purchases.
Right. The proof.
Exactly. When you're planning these transfers, it's incredibly wise to monitor exchange rates closely. I mean, even small fluctuations can impact your final purchasing power quite significantly. Some international transfer services might allow you to lock in a rate, which can offer a bit of peace of mind. What's absolutely crucial here is that you'll receive a specific document, often called a foreign exchange transaction form, or FIT form for short, from the Thai bank.
AICT form, got it.
This confirms the foreign currency remittance and the conversion into baht. This document is your legal proof that the funds originated from abroad, and it is absolutely essential for registering your ownership, particularly for those freehold condominiums. Any deviation from this rule, any attempt to bypass it, can lead to significant delays, major complications, or even quite serious legal issues down the line. So when you're considering a property, let's say that lovely 4A plot in Thalang, Phuket, you always need to factor in not just the property price, but also potential bank fees for the international transfers and that currency conversion process.
Wow, okay. I can see how getting the finances absolutely right, documented correctly, is completely non-negotiable. Building on that, buying property in a foreign country, maybe where you don't speak the language fluently, it can feel a bit like trying to assemble, flat pack furniture without the instructions.
Yeah.
Potentially confusing, maybe disastrous if you go it alone. So where does bringing in professional help make the biggest difference? Who do you need on your team?
Oh, it makes all the difference, honestly. A good real estate agent, particularly one like Ocean Worldwide that specializes in, say, luxury properties in regions they know inside out, like Phuket and Koh Samui, acts as your personal property scout. They possess invaluable local market knowledge. They can often access properties that aren't even publicly advertised yet.
Ah, useful.
Very. And they're skilled at helping you narrow down your search, gauge fair pricing, and that saves you immense time and hassle. It's really paramount to work with an agent who is registered, reputable, and has a proven track record in the area you're interested in. However, and I can't stress this enough, the legal advisor is, without any exaggeration, the single most important professional you'll engage in this process.
Right.
A qualified, independent Thai property lawyer is absolutely vital for navigating all the legal complexities and ensuring your investment is secure and compliant. They perform what we call due diligence. This means meticulously checking property title deeds, confirming there are no outstanding debts or, legal disputes attached to the property. They verify that the seller genuinely has the legal right to sell it. Absolutely. They also review the intricate details of the sale and purchase agreement, spotting any potential pitfalls like hidden zoning restrictions or issues with building permits that you might miss. Having a lawyer you trust means you can genuinely sleep easier at night, knowing your investment is protected. They also play a crucial role in overseeing the actual transfer of funds and the final registration at the land office, and, practically speaking, get a clear understanding of their fees up front. That's essential, so there are no unwelcome surprises later on.
Okay, due diligence. It sounds like the ultimate detective work, really. Before getting swept away by, a stunning sea view villa in Phuket, what are the absolute non-negotiables when it comes to checking out a property in Thailand? What does that detective work involve?
It really is detective work, spot on. And it's your primary safeguard against future problems. First off, property inspections. These must go way beyond just a casual viewing. You need a proper, detailed look around. Check the structure, check the plumbing, the electrics, the quality of the finishings. Don't be shy about it. For older properties, seriously consider investing in a professional building survey. It's usually well worth the extra cost for absolute peace of mind.
Good point.
Then comes the really critical step, verifying ownership. Your lawyer takes the lead here. They will meticulously check the title deeds, the custodians, usually at the official land department. They're looking to confirm legitimate ownership, identify any existing mortgages, liens, claims, or other legal encumbrances against the property. This also includes verifying practical things like proper legal road access to the property, is it public or private, and checking if anyone else is currently occupying or using the land, which could indicate existing rights that might affect your purchase.
Things you wouldn't necessarily think of.
Exactly. And that leads us to the comprehensive legal scrutiny of the property itself. Your lawyer will basically comb through all the relevant paperwork with a fine-tooth comb. This includes a deep dive into those title deeds for any potential issues or restrictions. Rigorous checks against local zoning and planning regulations. Is the property's intended use actually permissible? Are there future development restrictions nearby?
Right.
Verification of all necessary building permits and licenses, especially important for newer builds or renovations. For condominiums, they'll rigorously confirm that the foreign ownership quotas we talked about are being adhered to. And for new projects, off-plan purchases, they'll meticulously vet the developer's reputation and track record on past projects. You don't want to buy into a failing development.
No.
It's just really, really important to get an independent Thai property lawyer involved early in this process. Don't wait until you've already put down a deposit. For example, if you're looking at, say, that exclusive 5-ray plot of sea view land for sale in Yamu, Phuket, that might be listed. Your lawyer will be looking at everything. The zoning laws for that specific area, any development restrictions, the land's title deed history, any claims or mortgages against it, and even practicalities like utility connections, water, electric drainage issues, or potential risks like subsidence, especially if it's on a hillside. Honestly, a bit of caution and the right legal support up front is far, far better than dealing with a costly, protracted, and stressful problem later on.
Absolutely makes sense. So once all that meticulous due diligence is done, fingers crossed it all checks out and you found the perfect place. How do you actually pay for it? You mentioned the funds transfer, but are there different ways to finance it? It's not quite as simple as just wiring over your life savings, is it?
Not quite, no. And again, this is where those foreign currency regulations become paramount again. If you do have the funds available, a cash purchase is often the most straightforward route. Fewer hoops to jump through. But, as we said, this requires that international bank transfer from your home country in a foreign currency, with exceptionally clear payment instructions stating the purpose, purchase of condo unit XYZ, the property name or details, and your full name as the buyer.
Clarity is key.
Absolutely. Because for foreign freehold condominium purchases, remember, the bank needs to issue that foreign exchange transaction form, the 50T form. That form is your indisputable evidence that the funds originated from abroad and were properly converted. Without it, you simply cannot register the ownership of your freehold condo at the land department. It's a deal breaker.
Okay, so cash is clear if you have it. What about mortgages? Is that even an option for foreigners?
Mortgages for foreign buyers? Well, they can be a bit trickier, but certainly not impossible. It depends. Some developers, particularly for larger projects or maybe luxury villas, might offer their own in-house financing options, especially for off-plan properties where you pay in stages.
Right.
Alternatively, a select few Thai banks do offer mortgages to non-residents, but honestly, the criteria are usually quite strict. You'll generally need a substantial deposit, a very robust credit history back home, and clear, verifiable proof of stable income from abroad. The loan-to-value ratios, the LTV, are often lower than what you might expect back home, maybe only 50% to 70% of the property value.
So a bigger down payment needed.
Exactly, meaning you'll need to put down a larger deposit, typically anywhere from 30% to 50% upfront, sometimes even more. The 10-30% deposit mentioned earlier might apply more to reservation agreements or initial payments. The mortgage deposit is often higher. The application process itself can also be quite time-consuming and involve a lot of paperwork. So it's definitely advisable to speak with a specialized mortgage broker who deals with foreigners or engage directly with the banks well in advance to understand their current policies and requirements. And be prepared to provide extensive documentation, income statements, bank statements, tax returns, identification, the works.
Okay, so possible, but needs planning. Right, so once you've squared away the finances, however you do it, and found that dream property, the next step is actually making an offer. This is where the negotiation really begins and things start to get a bit more formal, right?
It's exactly crunch time. When you're ready to make an offer, it's pretty common practice in Thailand, like many places, to start a little lower than the asking price. This leaves yourself some room to negotiate. It's always a good idea to try and back up your offer with some research. Maybe comparable sales in the area, or specific observations about the property's condition from your inspection.
Right, justify your offer.
Precisely. Be prepared for a bit of back and forth. It's all just part of the process. Don't take it personally. Once an offer is verbally accepted, you'll typically move to sign a reservation agreement, or perhaps a letter of intent. This usually involves paying a small deposit, a reservation fee, which effectively takes the property off the market for a short, agreed-upon period. This gives your legal team the time to conduct their comprehensive due diligence without fear of someone else snapping it up.
Okay, that makes sense.
What's absolutely critical here, though, is that this initial agreement must be conditional on the satisfactory completion of your due diligence. If your lawyer's meticulous checks reveal any significant issues, title problems, zoning issues, structural defects, you need to have a clear clause allowing you to withdraw from the agreement and, crucially, get your deposit back in full.
Very important protection.
Paramount. And this is why it is so important to have your legal advisor review any preliminary documents, including this reservation agreement, before you sign anything or hand over any money. They are skilled at spotting potential pitfalls, things like outstanding debts attached to the property, or zoning regulations that might prevent your intended use, or even issues with, say, illegal daily rentals of condominium units if that's a known problem in the building. Their early involvement here can save you a tremendous amount of heartache and potential financial loss down the line.
That makes perfect sense. The reservation agreement is really just the first formal step, contingent on those checks. So, okay, you've done your due diligence, maybe via your lawyer, your offer's been accepted, the reservation is signed, and now you're ready to really commit. But before you start mentally decorating that Phuket pool party area, there's the small matter of the actual legal paperwork, the main contracts themselves. This is where things get truly serious, I imagine.
Indeed, this is really the legal heart of the entire transaction. The sale and purchase agreement, the S&P, is the big one. It's the foundational legal document that lays out absolutely all the terms and conditions of the sale. It's absolutely vital that this agreement is crystal clear. It needs to detail the precise agreed price, the payment schedule, the specific responsibilities of both the buyer and the seller, and any warranties or guarantees being made.
Right, everything's spelled out.
Everything. Ideally, it should be presented in both Thai and English, and the English version should be a verified translation. You must ensure you understand every single clause before you put your signature on that dotted line. Now, if you're pursuing a leasehold option, the lease agreement is equally critical. It's just as important as the S&P for freehold. This document must explicitly state the exact length of the lease, any options for renewal, how they work, when they trigger, and its transferability.
No.
Can you sell the lease on? It's all about protecting your long-term interest in the property.
Makes sense.
And honestly, it cannot be stressed enough. Always, always have an independent, qualified legal professional meticulously go through these critical documents with you before signing. They can spot nuances, ambiguities, or potential issues that you might easily miss. They can explain the finer points in plain English, helping you fully grasp the legal implications of what you're signing. Your lawyer will be revisiting all their earlier due diligence checks here too, confirming the title deed verification, reviewing zoning and planning regulations again in light of the contract, verifying building permits, ensuring foreign ownership quotas for condos are still met, and confirming the developer's reputation hasn't changed for new projects.
So they double-check everything against the contract.
Precisely. For example, if you're looking at buying that modern Thai villa for sale that an agency like Ocean Worldwide might list, your lawyer will be incredibly thorough with these final contract checks, cross-referencing everything before you commit. Getting these core legal documents absolutely right is arguably the most significant step towards a smooth, secure, and legally sound property purchase in Thailand.
Okay, so you've navigated the legals, found your dream property in Thailand, you've got the main paperwork, the S&P or lease, in hand, and it's almost done. Feels like the finish line. But before you pop the champagne, let's talk about those costs that often get overlooked, the ones beyond the main price that can quickly add up if you're not expecting them.
Yes, this is an area where unpleasant surprises can definitely emerge if you haven't budgeted properly. It's not just the agreed sale price. First, there are usually transfer fees. These are official government fees paid when the ownership is formally transferred at the land department. This fee is typically split between the buyer and the seller, though the exact split can be negotiated in the S&P, and it's based on a percentage of the property's government-assessed value, which might differ from the actual sale price. Just for a little bit of market context, looking back at the first quarter of 2025, while the number of condo units transferred to foreigners nationwide saw only a slight decrease of 0.5%, the overall value of these transfers actually declined by 9%, reaching about 16.4 billion. Bam.
Interesting dynamic.
Yeah, it indicates a changing market you need to be aware of when considering values and costs. Beyond those transfer fees, you'll likely encounter stamp duty. Well, this is generally 0.5% of the property's value, although it can sometimes be waived if another tax, specific business tax, applies, which often happens if the seller is selling within 5 years of acquisition. Legal fees, as we've stressed repeatedly, are a significant and absolutely essential component of your budget. It's always wise to get a clear, detailed quote for all anticipated legal work up front from your chosen lawyer.
Right. No hourly surprises.
Exactly. Then there are other potential charges that often pop up, especially with condominiums or properties within managed estates or MUBANs. These include common area maintenance fees, usually called CAM fees. These are ongoing monthly or annual payments that cover the upkeep of shared facilities like swimming pools, gyms, gardens, security, etc. They're typically calculated per square meter of your unit. For new condominiums, there's often a one-off payment required when you first take ownership called a sinking fund. This is basically a reserve fund set aside by the building management for major future repairs or replacements like repainting the building or replacing the lifts down the line. And for brand new builds, you might also face charges for the installation of utility meters, electricity, and water. So the advice is always, and I really mean always, ask for a detailed breakdown of all potential associated costs from your real estate agent, or, more importantly, your lawyer early on in the process. Get it in writing, if possible.
That's really useful advice. Budgeting for everything, not just the headline price. So, okay, fast forward. You've navigated all the steps, you've paid all the fees, signed all the papers, and the property is officially yours. Congratulations, that's brilliant. But the journey doesn't necessarily end right there at the land office door, does it? What happens after the purchase, especially if you're not planning on living in Thailand full time?
That's a really crucial post-purchase consideration, you're right, especially for investors or holiday homeowners. If you're not planning on living in your new Thai home full-time, or if your primary aim is to generate rental income, then property management becomes a key discussion point. Honestly, trying to manage a property from afar, dealing with tenants, maintenance issues, collecting rent, ensuring compliance can quickly become a major headache.
I can imagine.
Hiring a professional property management company is often a far more efficient and stress-free solution. They'll handle pretty much everything: finding reliable tenants, vetting them, collecting rent, coordinating repairs and maintenance, and ensuring ongoing legal compliance with local regulations. This is particularly beneficial if your property is located in a popular tourist area like Phuket or Koh Samui, where there are many reputable companies that specifically specialize in managing foreign-owned rental properties. They know the market
Takes the burden off.
completely.
Yeah.
And then, alongside management, there are your ongoing tax obligations to consider. You'll need to be fully aware of any annual property taxes that might apply in Thailand. The rules around the land and building tax have evolved, so understanding what applies to your specific property type and its assessed value is important. If you do rent out your place, any income you receive from that rental activity will be subject to Thai income tax. So keeping meticulous records of income and expenses is absolutely essential. There's also the potential for capital gains tax if you eventually sell the property for a profit, although the specifics depend on various factors like ownership duration and structure. This really raises an important point. Understanding these ongoing tax implications right from the outset is absolutely crucial for proper financial planning. It's always a very good idea to consult with a qualified local tax advisor. They can explain everything clearly based on your circumstances, help you set up your finances correctly for tax purposes in Thailand, and advise on any relevant double taxation treaties that might exist between Thailand and your home country, which could affect where you ultimately pay tax. Honestly, a little bit of proactive planning on the management and tax front right after purchase can save you a tremendous amount of trouble and potential expense later on. So yeah, buying property in Thailand as a foreigner can initially feel like you're trying to navigate a pretty complex maze. There are definitely hurdles, but hopefully this deep dive, drawing on the great insights from experienced players like Ocean Worldwide, has made things significantly clearer and less intimidating. It's certainly not impossible. Far from it. Thousands do it successfully every year, but you absolutely need to do your homework and be prepared. The key takeaways, I think, are really clear. Understand the fundamental rules, especially regarding owning condos versus leasing land, and always, always get a reputable independent lawyer involved early. They truly are worth their weight in gold in this process. Check everything thoroughly, ensure you get all agreements in writing, and most importantly, perhaps, don't rush the process. Take your time to get it right.
Absolutely. And getting it right means you can actually relax and truly enjoy your new place, whether it's a home or an investment. You can enjoy it without that nagging worry about legal hiccups or financial surprises down the line. It really is about building a secure foundation for whatever your future plans are in Thailand. And it makes you think, given the potential for those long-term renewals on the 30-year leaseholds, perhaps stretching out over decades, what kind of multi-generational legacy could you potentially be building with a property in Thailand? And how might considering that possibility shift your initial objectives, maybe turning what started as just a simple holiday home idea into something much more significant? Definitely something to mull over. We've given you the tools to consider.